Hey, what's going on, folks? Archimedes here. I'm going to bring a few more things to your brain, and it's stuff that I've known, since last year is when I had my awakening to all this. And they actually say by now, if you're not awakened to it, you're basically just too numb for it, and you're not gonna. I don't know. Okay, I fucking don't know. They said it's basically pointless. I still feel in my heart I should be able to put the information out there. What you do with it is up to you. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, if you don't believe in the shit, don't believe in the shit. Okay, you're not being forced to, but all I'm going to tell you is I've seen too many fucking things and I've heard too many things for all this shit to not add up. Okay, there's too many things to say, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense because this, or that makes a lot of sense because that. So today I got a quick couple minutes here. I'm gonna spit out a few things. Okay, so let's talk about the tunnel systems, right? They've made tunnel systems. Now, I understand that the Earth is 24,000 miles in diameter. From one side to the other, to 24,000 miles. Seems like a lot, but it doesn't. It's a pretty big circumference. So, supposedly, and I've never been in those tunnels before, but supposedly these tunnels go 500 miles deep on either side, or at any one given spot. By way of understanding, they can reach every fucking continent. All through these tunnels, all these continents are connected. Okay, they have underground cities, they have underground lakes and ponds and rivers and creeks and shit like that. I mean, they've literally built an entire world under our feet. Okay. Oh, no way, dude. That's not fucking possible. Okay, well then where's all these fucking vortexes coming from that people find? That's a little odd, isn't it? Let's talk about, they say that the blue hole, not the blue hole, but they say that the entire state of New Mexico, pretty much like 7/8 of it is actually underground tunnels. Okay? No way, dude. Well, I mean, what's the blue hole situation? Where's that water coming from? That's a pretty good fucking question, yeah? I mean, by way of understanding, if you understand the reading from the blue hole, where's that at? Santa Rosa? And they actually say Albuquerque is one of the worst places for human trafficking. So the blue hole naturally pumps out like 1,250 gallons a minute, just naturally, okay? Why is that motherfucker just damn near in a perfect fucking circle? Water doesn't flow like that. It doesn't decide to make a perfect fucking circle. So, by way of understanding, at this blue hole, there's caverns and shit you can take and perfectly scuba dive through. They say there are some spots that do get a little tight, but in reality, they say you can go from here and fucking swim for hours and hours and hours, that nobody's ever been to the depth of the other side. They say you'll run out of oxygen, and a lot of people have died, so at so many feet down, they've had to cut it off. And due to that factor of people swimming down, losing their way in these caves and caverns and shit, and drowning because they run out of oxygen. Well, every continent, North Pole to Antarctica, from Antarctica to Australia to Europe, all these fucking countries are connected by some way, somehow. If you also understand that Evergreen is another way of fucking trafficking, and that's in part owner of Clinton Foundation and Walmart. Oh, it's kind of an odd deal, isn't it? Yeah, they say Walmart, there's pretty much a basement in every Walmart that's used for trafficking. Nah, I don't know about that. Well, I mean, have you ever started paying attention recently within the last, since they brought out cell phones and shit, that there's a shit ton of Amber Alerts. I mean, unless you turn those Amber Alerts off, there's a shit ton of Amber Alerts, right? Yeah, that's starting to make a lot of sense, huh? Maybe a little even. So these tunnel systems, they supposedly can go from LA to New York. Okay, what is that, like a span of 2,000 something miles, 2,400 miles, something like that? I might be wrong. I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 2,000 miles. They go from LA to New York within a span of like 30 minutes. No way, dude. Nobody can move that fast underground. Well, let me put you this way. A couple years ago, before I really got into some of the hobbies and sports of interest that I am, I think actually is right about the time I was in high school. It's kind of like a roller coaster over in Las Vegas where they had a dragster that you could sit in, time yourself on the light, and then launch down the track through a quarter mile at 300 miles an hour. That's pretty fucking rapid. Yeah? Well, guess what? It's all run by magnets. The magnets keep you straight, so there's no way to flip it over or anything like that. There's basically, they've cut out all the dangers, but they give you the exact thrill of what a dragster does. You get the full force of the G-forces. Unless you don't think you can handle it, they'll cut the rates back, things like that. But it's all run by magnets. Roller coasters nowadays are run by magnets. That's how they stop you. That's how they speed you up. That's how they boost you through all this shit. Now, in some situations, if they're going to lift you up through a steep climb just before the plummet, and then you go through all the little rat trap maze that you're on, it's driven by chain. Sure, that's easy to understand, but the rest is kind of run by magnets. How do you think you stop and go on those fucking things? You're telling me that they haven't secretly fucking built a way to travel using magnets? Look at all these fucking trains in bigger cities, subways and shit. Those are all run by magnets and shit. Some of them still run on electric, but they're going pretty fucking far-fetched just to run on the fucking magnets. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I could see that. If there's no underground tunnels, where are these videos coming from of entire vortexes swallowing an entire city block? You see it in Japan, just a random sinkhole. Sinkholes in general. It doesn't have to be a vortex, just sinkholes in general. I've seen it swallow fucking entire 150-year-old trees that are perfectly fine, have no damage to them done whatsoever, and just the whole fucking tree just disappear, right? I don't know, man. Some of the shit seems like it could be pretty fucking feasible, yeah? Well, I don't want to have to be the one to say I told you so, but by way of understanding, too, they got tunnels and shit in LA, New York. Well, yeah, but what do they do down there if they have entire cities and they're breeding children down there and women to fucking breed more children because they fucking eat humans? Because they're reptilians. Well, think of why in the hell would you need 2 naval ships that are emergency hospital boats, one going to New York and one going to LA? What are you going to do with all those? Look at the information that's out there. People were given care packets as far as milk nutrients. As an adult, you don't fucking need milk nutrients. You would just get an IV. Some of the hospital beds they were carrying out were fucking short as shit. I would say like 3.5 foot long. I ain't never met a couple humans that are 3.5 foot long unless they're a midget. And that's not their fault, but they're just not that tall. So the tunnel system that was in Central Park was cleaned out. That had tents set up all over there. Well, if these hospitals were full, like the news says it is, and unless you trust the news, because I fucking don't. But if these hospitals were full, like people said that they were, where are all these TikTok videos coming from? These fucking nurses doing synchronized dancing and shit. If the hospital's full of fucking COVID patients, where are these nurses finding time to do these fucking TikTok videos? Think about it. Not to mention the Suez Canal. All those fucking container ships. Look at how since last year, at around this time, we had just gotten into the Rona situation. I ordered parts that had to come from China. And they still arrived on time. Nowadays, with the Suez Canal, I've been waiting on parts from China for over a month now. I'm not going to complain about it because this shit happened. I understand it takes a while to get from China anyway. I've seen it as quick as 3 weeks. But it's kind of like, man, that's an awful lot of container ships. And that ship was called Ever Given, which is under the Evergreen LLC or LTD, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. That's just a few more things to fucking make sense in your goddamn noggin. Look it over, think about it, make a joke, whatever. You don't have to fucking believe it, but I'm saying there's too many of these things that actually make fucking sense because everything's connected. And once you see this shit, you can't unsee it. Once you're awake to this, you can never, ever go back to sleep. So, rise and shine, Valentine.